Hi, and welcome to That's What She Said, the podcast where Gen X women share their insights, their lived experiences, and their stories that can help Gen Z and older women navigate life, work, and everything in between. We talk about the stuff no one tells you so you can choose your own life on your own terms. So let's dive in. There's this moment so many women hit, sometimes in their 20s, but definitely in midlife, where they look around and think, how did I end up here? They've done what they were supposed to do. They built the career. They showed up for everyone else. They played by the rules. But somewhere along the way, they started shrinking, holding back their voice, second guessing themselves, waiting until they felt ready. And then there's Renee Carbone Fleming, my guest and founder of the Badass Queen brand and host of the podcast Unapologetically Badass. Renee built a movement around helping women stop playing small, reclaim their voice, and create their own income. Now, this wasn't because Renee always had it figured out, but because she made a decision to stop waiting. Renee's work is rooted in a simple but sometimes uncomfortable truth. No one is coming to hand you your life. So if you've been sitting in that tension, knowing you want more but hesitating to fully go after it, this episode is for you. Renee, I'm so glad you're here today.
Oh my gosh, thank you so much for having me. And what a beautiful, such a sweet intro. Thank you.
Oh, thanks, Renee. Yeah, I really love highlighting your life, not just what you do in your bio and your resume,
Yeah.
but really the intention behind it because your entire brand is built around helping women stop playing small
Yeah.
and choose themselves, which for a lot of women is hard because that's not what we're taught.
Yeah.
When you look back at your own life, where were you waiting for permission? And then what finally made you decide you were done waiting?
There's been so many times. Um, and I think a lot of women can relate to that. But for me, I didn't wait for permission even as a child. So
Really?
we came from very like no money, lived in an
Mm.
apartment. I slept on the pullout sofa in the living room through my high school years. So I didn't wait for anyone to say, "Here, Renee, here's the table that you are welcome to sit at." I had to figure it
Mm.
out, and I had to figure it out really damn early. I started working very early on, whatever I can do, Burger King, Friendlies. I was like, I need to make money and I don't care what I got to do it. So that's always been kind of ingrained in me because I grew up hearing so many, I want to say excuses. Like people felt
Mm.
like they were stuck and
Yeah.
I just couldn't understand. Well, then why are you stuck? So fucking change it. Like
Get unstuck.
get unstuck. Like who's holding you back from doing it, right? So I grew from that. And then when I got divorced, that was really another big aha moment
Mm.
because I was stuck and I was being held back. Part of it from my own perception of how I needed to act and be as a mom and as a wife. But when the divorce happened, I was like, okay, well, I could either choose to, poor me, and okay, what do I do? And I went, no, I'm gonna figure it out. And I knew that I wanted to figure it out in a way that will work for what I wanted to be and how I wanted to show up for my daughters. And
Oh.
so that meant for me that I wasn't going back to work full time and work for
Mhm.
anyone. I don't have my college degree. I was very successful in my career in spite of that because of my drive, because of my grit. I've been very blessed with that. So I grew in a corporate world without having the piece of paper, the actual degree. But leaving corporate world in order to get back in it after so many years, you kind of back then you needed it. So
Mm.
I said, all right, well, what can I do? And that's what started me on this entrepreneurial journey.
So you talked about your experience of what made you push past that waiting for permission.
Yeah.
Do you have any idea of why so many capable women, whether they're 25, 45, 65, I still see them hesitating to put themselves fully out there.
Yeah.
What are your thoughts around that?
It's fear. It's fear of failure.
Mm,
It's fear of success. Sometimes it's money related. People have a weird concept and relationship with money. And it's fear of what is somebody going to think of me? Who am I?
huh,
So, and I refer
right.
back to when I started the podcast, right? I could either go, who the hell do I think I am to start a podcast? And then I went, who the hell am I to not start the podcast? If
Mm,
somebody doesn't like me, that's on them. I don't really give a shit. And when I say that with love. I'm not
mm.
everyone's cup of tea, and that's okay, right? I like coffee, so it's all good. But, for a lot of women, they're fearful of what somebody else is going to think.
Yeah.
If I show up online and show up on social and I'm offering this or I'm sharing this advice, what are they going to think of me? Who is
Mm,
she to think that she's an expert in said field, whatever that is? So I think fear is a lot of it. And that's what drove me to go back to the reason when I started this entrepreneurial journey. I had this concept of watch me. I'm
okay.
stubborn. I don't know if you could tell that, but it might be that Italian Portuguese in me. But, when somebody doubts me, I just
Yeah.
sit there like, yeah, okay. Watch me, right? You don't think I can? Watch me. Now, doesn't mean I don't fail. I failed a hell of
Mhm.
a lot growing these businesses, but I fail forward because I learn from it. I adjust, I adapt, and then I go on to something. But that watch me attitude, I wrote those 2 words on Post-it notes and I put it all over my office. I put it in my car. I put it on my bathroom mirror, anywhere I can see it. And then I just recently actually wrote a book called Watch Me. It's a business philosophy
Oh,
for women. And the reason why I created it because Watch Me, that W is withdraw from explanation. A
mm,
is to act before approval because a lot of times we're asking people, what do you think? And
right,
typically we ask the wrong people. Like if I ask people in my audience, in my network who's never been an entrepreneur, who's more
right,
conservative with their finances, who would never put themselves out there, invest in themselves, they'd be like, are
uh-huh,
you crazy? Why are you doing that? Go get a regular job, job, just over broke. So
right.
A, act before approval. T is take up space publicly. I'm all about that. I have not always been this bold and this public. I actually was an introvert, and a lot of people are like, "There's
Uh-uh.
no way." I
No
know.
way.
I think I was a closeted introvert. I think I wanted to be an extrovert, but I had to push myself because,
Yeah.
quite honestly, especially coming up in corporate, I had this expectation of how I needed to act, how I needed to be, and how I'm going to present myself. And I'm not saying I can't present myself professionally, but when
Uh-huh.
I unleashed that and I said, I am who I am,
Right.
and, if I act more like me, my authentic self, not concerned if somebody's going to like me or accept me, because I like me. I accept me.
Mhm.
So once I got comfortable in that, that's when was definitely more comfortable taking up space publicly when I got comfortable with me. And then C is to commit without consensus. Again, you can ask an audience of 10 people and eight of them are going to tell you you're crazy. And then H is hold the vision when no one else does. Because as an entrepreneur, and I'm sure you can relate to this and so will your audience, there are so many times where we want to give up. There
Yes.
are so many times where we're like,
Mhm.
what the hell am I doing? Maybe I should just get the damn job, right? And you're like,
Right.
Why am I doing this?" But when you know your purpose and you feel it in every fiber and you're like, no, I know I was meant to do this. And if it takes, that one person, that one message that you get going, thank you for sharing whatever it was, it
Mhm.
really resonated. You're like, okay, I need more of this." So I always refer back to that book. Have you ever heard that book, 3 Feet from Gold?
No.
Oh my gosh. Are you familiar with Napoleon Hill and all
Yes.
of that? So there's a book called 3 Feet from Gold. I always share this because it's so enlightening. This is just brilliant, but it comes down to that concept of just when you're this close to quitting,
Mm.
you just might be 3 feet from gold, and you don't
Yes.
know if that next connection, that next phone call, that next message, that next client is going to be
Yes.
what turns it around. So I think every entrepreneur or anyone really going navigating life, because you never know, you could be 3 feet from gold, whether it's, going for a job or as an entrepreneur.
God, there's so many points that I love that you made, but the one that really brought me back to a conversation I was having yesterday with my 21-year-old daughter. So she actually came up with the title for the podcast and she does a lot of my marketing. And being 21, she said, Mom, just remember, you have to be patient with this process. And I got to tell you, my first reaction, Renee, was like, fuck that. I don't have to be patient. I can put everything into this. In this case, we were talking about the podcast. Think about it constantly because I love it. Be working on it because I'm enjoying doing that. This is not work to me, although eventually I want it to become my full-time focus.
Yeah.
But there's no being patient. I'm not waiting around just to see how it goes and see how it can grow. I am going to keep pumping in all different ideas to see how fast it can happen. And I hear a lot of that message in what you were just talking about.
Yeah.
There's no passively sitting back and waiting. And for a lot of women, it seems that we are taught very early that we do things practically, that we do things for other people,
Mhm.
that we have to let our lives evolve. And if they evolve around how it's helping other people, then we've been successful, which I call bullshit on. Like,
Right.
make it successful for you, and then the ripple effect will happen.
Yes.
And I think that's what I've listened to you in different talks you've given and podcasts and things that you put out there. That's what you encourage. You as a priority.
Yeah.
And then, yeah, you'll still make an impact on the people that you love and the people that you want to hear you, but
Yeah.
you first.
Absolutely. You know what? We get one shot at this.
Yes.
And I think as we get older, we reflect on, that
Mm,
back half and going, okay, where
yes.
am I? And that's why,
Yeah.
like, I typically work with women over 40 because everyone I'm 56, so I'm well over 40 now. But when I started this journey, I started as an entrepreneur over the age of 40. So that's when it shifted. And a lot of women get to that point and they reflect and they go, okay, what's next? Whether they have
Yes.
young children or whether they go through a divorce or they lose their job. And then especially those that, have adult kids. And once the kids go off to college or leave the nest, then it's going, okay, who am I? What do I want
Yeah.
this next
Right.
decade, these next couple of decades to look like? And if I didn't try the things now, I'm just freaking sure I'm going to do this. And there's so much more, like you said, with your excitement with the podcast, right? You go, okay, I'm so excited about this. You'll be on your computer sitting on the couch at 10 o'clock at night thinking of ideas and plugging
Are
them
you
in.
spying on me, Renee?
And that's how we work. But I'm going, it's not work. This is
No,
enjoyment. I
it
get to
is.
do these things.
Yes.
And so once you're in that place of gratitude,
Mm,
and appreciate all of the ish that we went through in order to get to doing the fun things that we like, the monetization is going to come.
right.
And
Agreed.
with that monetization, then other branches of opportunities will come. And so
Mhm.
I am absolutely in that place of gratitude and yes. And when I think of something at, 11 o'clock, I'll pull my laptop and I'm like, oh, I just thought of a great idea. I don't know if anyone's going to buy it, but I think it's brilliant. So
Yeah.
there's definitely more to come from Badass Queen. And I just feel like I'm just getting started. I don't care what
Agreed.
what the age is. And that's the big thing that I, work with women because a lot of them come to me going, "Well, I'm in my 50s. I don't know how to use social media." Or I'm in my 50s. I've only worked a full-time job. Yeah, who's going to hire me? Who's going to want this? And I'm like, "You're only 50 something. Who
Right.
cares?" Age makes no difference, right? Age,
Doesn't
background, expertise, none of that. If you have a passion, I call it a PhD. You have passion, heart, and desire, watch out. You can do anything.
I love that. And I love that you're emphasizing this because what I've seen in, younger women, and I had this, maybe you did too, there's this belief about getting older that you need to accomplish everything you want to accomplish by X number, 40,
Right.
50, because then you're old.
Yeah.
And when I look back, I am not sure I could confidently be doing the things I'm doing now with really no fear when I was that age because there was so much unknown in front of me. I didn't have the wisdom and the failures and the experiences to build off of to come into a place of if it doesn't work, I'll pivot. If it doesn't work, I'll try it a little differently.
Yeah,
I didn't have that. And you talk about that a lot where,
yeah.
and I think your phrase is confidence comes after action, not before. What does that really mean to you?
Well, it's the truth because we cannot go through this life unscathed.
Yeah.
And as a young adult, we have this fantasy of how our world is supposed to look. And I'm going to
Right.
have this happen and this is going to be accomplished and I'm going to do this. And oh, this wonderful timeline. And then God laughs. He's like, good. That's what you think. Good.
That's really cute.
That's really cute. Yep. Okay. Life happens. But I wasn't prepared. Nobody told me that to be prepared that shit's going to hit the fan.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
probably not just once,
Hmm.
but how do you learn and grow from it? So that was the thing is, in my other book, Unapologetically Badass, Fuck the Rules, Wear the
Thank you.
Crown, I talk about the ish that I've gone through in my life and what did I learn from it and how did I grow from it? And I didn't write that because people were going, Renee, please tell me your story. Nor am I a big, let me just blurt out everything that
Right.
happened. But I wanted women, and especially younger women, to see this is stuff that could happen. It
Right.
didn't break me. It didn't
Hmm.
crush me. It hurt me tremendously, right? There are moments that did crush me, but life is a choice. You can choose to stay stuck. You can
Yes.
choose to stay upset. You can choose to stay sad, or you can go into action. And when you
Hmm.
go into action, you then have this commitment to yourself and to the people that you love and that are around you going, I'm going to show up. So what I've found is through this whole journey of the ups and downs, I was committed to myself and that helped me get through all of the ish
Hmm.
because I had other people that I was committed to helping.
An interesting spin. You said you're committed to yourself
Yeah.
versus I'm committed to my goals. And I think there's a deeper nuance to that when you're committing to yourself because sometimes we won't achieve our goals.
Yeah.
I mean, it doesn't work out for whatever reason. No matter how much work you put into it, sometimes it just doesn't happen.
Right.
But if you're committed to yourself, that's something that can sustain you because the goal is just part of the process, but
Absolutely.
you are the constant.
I'm the constant, and those goals
Mm.
can change. The
Yeah,
goalpost timeline can
right.
change, but as long as I'm consistently happy with who I am and I'm committed to myself, I'm committed to my health, my success, my
Yes.
happiness, and no matter the pivots and the downturn and the ups, the highs, I know there's going to be highs and I
Right.
know that there's going to be lows coming. But
Exactly.
I'm gonna continue to work through them, and like I said, not
Right.
everything is gonna be a success, and like you said, no, we're
Mhm,
gonna fail a lot,
mhm.
but that's just to be expected, like, we're not going through this
Yeah.
unscathed.
Yeah, it's a learning opportunity.
Yeah.
And when you build in this idea of, focusing on you and being confident about yourself, one specific way that you really zero in on for women is building their own income. And I'm really curious, why is that such a personal mission for you?
Oh my gosh, so I call it building your $100,000 fuck it fund, because I never want women to feel stuck, right? I just I because I came from divorce, and my
Mm,
ex-husband, my husband at the time, was very financially successful. And I relied on that because that was our agreement. I was gonna be the stay-at-home mom and raise the
yeah,
kids while he worked. Well, then divorce happened and I was screwed. And like I said, I grew up with no money. So I saw what that looked like and I knew I would never go back there.
right.
So I never want women to feel like they're stuck, whether it's a shitty husband, a shitty job, a shitty circumstance, whatever that is, no experience, too much experience, too old, too young, whatever. I want women to know that there are opportunities that they can make money. So I show them how to do it because I'm doing it. I'm like, I have multiple
Mm,
streams of income. And if I can do it, I can show you how to do it too. I never want women to not have I can't even say a plan B because the world that we're living in, you need a plan A, B, C, D, G,
Correct.
and, you know,
100%.
so,
Mhm.
yeah, I'm very passionate about that because I was there, and I want to always remember that feeling of uncertainty and being scared and vulnerable and not wanting to ask for help and not knowing where to turn. So that's why I've created the programs and coaching to help other women.
I get that. That was something that my mom, so it's me and my sister, and my mom raised us with this idea, always be able to take care of yourself because, we were young women, like middle school and high school. So we weren't thinking that far ahead. But she said, you know what? You may not always have a spouse. They might divorce you, they might die.
Yeah.
And you always, very much like what you say, always have to rely on yourself. You have to
Yes.
have a way to take care of yourself.
Right.
It was always, where is your money? How do you control that? I hear that in your message so much. What do you think changes psychologically for a woman when she starts making and being in control of her own money?
It's freedom. It is such
Mhm.
a because you
Yeah,
feel this empowerment that I can do what I want. Like I said with that, fuck it. If I want to go to the spa and go spend hundreds of dollars, fuck it. I can do it. I don't have to ask anyone for permission. Or
right,
the guilt of especially moms if they're not working. I experience, I didn't want to spend, his money, our money on
right.
those extras because we have kids and we have bills and we have all of that. If you have your own fund that you can decide what you want to do,
Mhm.
there is such freedom and happiness and
Yes,
empowerment that you can't put a price tag on. I just
right.
it's so rewarding.
And I think it contributes to your sense of purpose, which
Yeah.
we know from the research that purpose is a big part of your satisfaction with life. Which, again, while I think absolutely being a mom at home, taking care of the kids, that certainly is part of a purpose. But when you have a purpose that's connected directly to your identity, who you are as a person before you were a mom,
Yeah.
before you were a spouse, that's a different essence
Yeah.
of that psychological mindset.
Absolutely. Yes. Having that purpose, having the reason for, and a lot of people, a
Mm,
lot of young women, especially, don't know what their purpose is, right? They're like, I
yeah.
don't know what my purpose is. And a lot of us figure it out later in life. But when you take that time to sit in your own self, right? And go, what lights me up? And you really
Yes.
think about what is it that lights me up? What could I
Oh, yeah.
talk about all the time and not make any money, just people want to
Right.
have conversations about a particular topic. Then you start going, "Oh, maybe that's what my purpose could be."
Yes.
Because, the younger generation, they go into school because they think I have to know everything
Have
at
to.
at
Mhm.
17, I need to know exactly what I'm gonna do with the rest of my life.
Oh my
That
gosh, yeah.
just makes
Crazy.
no sense. Um,
Mhm.
so I really encourage everyone to try to take that self-reflection and get to know who you are at a young age because it's
Yeah.
very hard to go from a young age still developing and just putting the expectations on yourself, and then you kind of feel like you're stuck. Yeah, I have to do it because I went to school for it.
This is a soapbox of mine. Like, we expect these kids, as you said, at 17 to figure out what is their one focus, what's their major gonna be, that they have to go to college. That one blows me away,
Right.
even though I went on that path and 2 of my 4 kids went on that path. But I'm like, "No, wouldn't it be lovely if we said to kids, 'Take a year, 2 years, go explore the world,
Right.
go be bored so you know what actually you're drawn to,' because you're not gonna know if you're constantly filling your time with distractions.
Yeah.
Sometimes you just need some downtime and boredom to say, what do I really love? What I really love to talk about, think about, spend
Yeah.
hours researching about. It's
Yeah.
such an important part of identity. And I also see that women at the mid-range where all of a sudden their identity shifts, especially if their kids are gone, their spouses have moved on or done whatever. It being okay to take some time to just say, let me take some time to figure it out, not that desperate, "Oh, what's next? Fill in the blank."
Yes.
And I hear you talking about that as just a logical part of the timeline, that ambiguous timeline.
Yeah, and I think we don't do a good enough service to the younger generation and teaching
Mm,
them some of those skills of looking inward in
Yes.
networking with others. And what does networking really look like? And
Mm,
especially poor kids that had to go through homeschooling with the pandemic and all
right.
of that. I mean, some
Right.
of them, so many of them lost the ability to have
Yes.
conversations and look at people in the eyes.
When you're talking about the skills of younger generations, and certainly I agree with you, but communication is a big
Mm.
struggle for them. What would you also want them to understand early about money and independence that for many women they learn, much later or too late?
And that's another thing that I think the education system really dropped the ball. A lot of families are not comfortable with finances. So
Yes.
if their parents are not comfortable and their parents are not educated in financial matters, they're not going to be educated in financial matters. So I think that's one aspect that needs to happen. But if that doesn't happen, I really encourage the younger generation to go find those opportunities because early on, getting into whether it's real estate, getting into saving in a 401k, Roth IRA, like learning the tools and the strategies. And if you have an interest in being an entrepreneur, what does an LLC opportunity look like for you? And becoming a 1099 contractor with other businesses and being a consultant. So there's so many of those financial things that I didn't know until I was much older. Nobody taught me.
Mhm.
My parents didn't have money, so they definitely didn't teach me. And I didn't go to college, and certainly my kids went to college, and college didn't teach them any of that
Nope.
either. So I wish that there was like something, some sort of a course, a guide to really help the younger generation, especially women,
Yeah.
especially young girls, so that they can have that independence early on. Yeah.
You've mentored hundreds of women. What do you think separates the ones who take action versus the ones that stay stuck?
PhD,
And remind us what it is?
passion, heart, and desire.
Mm,
A lot of women say that they want. I want this. I want to earn extra money. But they're not willing to do the work.
mm,
Those that are really driven, those that have grit, that one word grit is completely the game changer with somebody who's going to succeed and somebody who's going to fail. Because those that fail in something usually allow the obstacles to overcome their goals, their purpose.
mhm.
They hit a wall. They have an obstacle. People say no, and they're like, "I can't do it." And but those that are successful are like, "Okay, yeah, you know what? I fell flat on my face. All right, what's next?" Because they know that they're meant to do what they're driven to do. PhD over anything.
Do you think that's something that is an innate part of some women, or can that be something you develop?
I've seen it develop also.
Cool.
Yes.
Okay,
So I've
how?
coached
How do
clients.
people who don't think they have it actually start to develop that grit or that PhD?
Yeah, so that's a great one because a lot of people really think, "Oh, well, I wasn't born with that, so I can't
Right.
do it," right? But
Absolutely.
I've really been so lucky to have worked with some women that didn't see it in themselves, and sometimes that's what it takes, is to have somebody else see what they don't see in themselves.
Mhm.
And once they have that, once somebody puts that mirror up to them and going, "No, this is you." You kinda see that light go up, and they're like, "Wait, I can." And the more
Mm.
that again, it's action, the more action they take, the more committed they are to their success and the more committed they are to themselves. So that can be trained over time, and
Hmm.
again, I tell women, "Things are figure outable." They're figure outable. So when you when you figure it out and you continue to move into action, you continue to do the do, you can get there. But I love seeing that light bulb moment when it
Yeah.
clicks, and that's why I do this. I love the community and helping, support other women.
Part of that process you're talking about, again, watching your career and what you do, is helping women turn their stories into their brands.
Yeah,
And for a lot of women, either they feel like their story is something to hide,
right.
or they don't feel like they really have a story worthy of being a brand.
Yeah.
How do you approach that with the people that you work with or the women you come in contact with?
Everyone has a story. Everyone has a story, and stories connect us. right? I could go, "Oh, this is the best pen ever, and you really wanna buy this." And they're like, "Who the hell are you?" But when people get to know you as a person showing up authentically, right? Even with AI, and I love my AI. I have my AI clone, and sometimes I use her too. But when people start sharing their lows or their obstacles as well, you are more
Mm,
relatable. And people, we hear it all the time. People do business with they like, know, and trust. So when they get to like you and they're like, oh, she seems like a nice person. And then they stop following you. And then they're like, oh, wait a minute, I do connect with her. And then they may do business with you. So yeah, everything is personal branding. And, I really have been talking a lot to professionals who work a full-time job career. And for them, they're like, well, I don't need a personal brand. I'm a CFO. I am a project
right.
manager. I do
I've
this
got my title.
and I got
Mhm.
my title and this is what I do. And I'm like, but we know with the opportunity, I'm going to say an opportunity using AI, there's also an obstacle, right? The
Mm,
obstacle is a lot of people may lose their jobs due
mhm.
to automation. Okay. That's the reality that we're living in. And
Right.
we know that our children, they're going to go through this a hell of a lot more than we are. But I look at it as an opportunity. And it's an opportunity for everyone that has a career and a job. Because with the power of a personal brand, that person may become that 1099 contract worker, and those that have a personal brand online, those companies are going to, you bet they're going to look at you on social media. And if
Mhm.
you could represent that brand with such authority because you have a presence, you're probably going to get the job over somebody else.
Mm,
Resumes mean less than who you are as a brand.
right.
So I really believe in sharing that and building an audience and building your personal brand no matter whether or not you ever thought you would become an entrepreneur.
Right. There's a challenge around that, at least in my perspective,
Mhm,
with the idea of really creating a powerful story
mhm.
that suits your goals and your brand versus oversharing or seeking validation. How would you define the difference between those 2?
Showing up authentically, but I don't believe everyone is gonna share every aspect
Mhm.
of their lives, right? But showing up authentically doesn't mean you have to share those dirty family
Mhm.
secrets or friend secrets, but it's showing up and just being yourself and not being I'm gonna show up with my perfect look and this is my
Right.
perfect life, but sharing also that messy bun and being who you are and going out and having a cup of coffee with friends or a glass of wine, whatever, and sharing some of when I say sharing authentically, sharing some of your expertise authentically.
Mm.
So it doesn't necessarily have to be all of your life, and I respect that a lot of people want to keep their personal lives separate. But incorporating some of those things, whether it's you have a passion for gardening, and maybe you're then sharing some experience you have in gardening. Doesn't mean you're sharing bad stuff in your life, but people want to do business with people
Mm.
that they like.
What do you think really makes a personal brand stand out?
Your authentic self. So
Goes
there's
back to
only
that.
one of you, right? There's thousands of podcasters, but
Yeah.
there's only one of you.
Mhm.
So your voice, your personality, you're the difference maker. And that's what
Mhm.
I say to everyone, right? There's thousands of coaches. People can hire so many different people, right? But it's how I am, it's my personality, it's how I deliver. That's the power of a personal brand. There's
Yep.
only one of us.
Yep. You're not gonna hit every single person out there. So the
No.
people that align with you and your brand and your message,
Yeah.
they're the ones that you'll connect with.
Absolutely. It really is understanding your authentic self and who you are.
Mm.
When I started off again, I really thought I had to attract everyone, right?
Yes.
So
Agreed.
I
I think
was
that is a big misnomer.
that's a big one, right? And so when I really unleashed the expectation of what somebody else thought of me, and I'm like, "Yeah, I'm just gonna be myself." I swear
Mhm.
like a truck driver. I use that language. I bleed Cabernet. I mean, I am who I am, but I like me. So, again, you're like, I'm not gonna be for everyone. So
Right.
and I believe in God too. So a lot of people I have, like, a lot of Christian friends, and they're like, "But you swear so much." And they're like, "I can't swear." And I'm like, God
Yes, you can.
bless me. Yes, I can. I'm like, "Well, fuck it. I'll swear for you." What do you want? But, we want all young people to really just embrace authentically who they are, and
Mhm.
your people will find you,
Yes.
right?
Yes.
Your people will
Yeah,
find you.
agreed. And it seems, at least in my observation, when we bring all this together, whether it's voice or visibility, income, it becomes an evolution for you. And I know this is something you've lived firsthand because you rebuilt after personal and financial hardship, like you said. What did that season or that experience teach you about yourself?
That I'm unstoppable. I I can turn lemonade into margaritas, 1000%.
I am
I
going to use that from now on instead of lemonade.
you know, because and I really wanted to show my daughters
Yeah.
that you can go through anything, right?
Yeah.
It's okay, yeah, you could be dead broke, but what am I gonna do about it?
Right.
No one is going to save you. That's it. So I just embrace that whole unleashing my badass queen. So when I created Badass Queen, again, it's that feeling, right?
Yeah.
I became that person
Mm.
because of the commitment that I had to myself. I didn't
Even
always
before you felt it.
even before I felt it.
Yeah.
I was
Yeah.
committed to myself, scared shitless, crying, don't know what the next step is,
Yep.
but I was committed to myself and my happiness, and I know I'm gonna get there. So
Yes.
sometimes I do believe you have to fake it till you make it. So
Mm.
I created this persona of somebody who was stronger than me because I knew that I wanted to become that.
Right. It
So,
almost became your template and your goal of getting to that place.
yep, because I
Hmm.
I was committed here. And I knew I needed to do something to get outside of where I was.
Yeah. That is a great place for it to start for younger women. For women who are maybe in their 30s, 40s, 50s or more,
Mhm.
and if they feel like they're behind, what can you tell them to shift out of that mindset?
Get out of your own head because it's a dangerous place to be.
Mhm.
That's that's definitely for sure. Again, I didn't stop my entrepreneurial journey until I was after the age of 40, post-divorce,
Yeah.
2 daughters, 12 and 9, stay-at-home mom. I'm 56. I've had to figure it out. And again, nobody brought me along. I had to figure it out. So I'm like, okay, I'll figure out AI. Sure. And now I've trained GPTs. I have
Uh,
badass queen GPTs that people can just tap into mine and it will give you your branding and your social media strategy, all of it. But you can learn what you don't know. Like, everything is figure outable. So if you're
yes.
in your 40s, 50s, 60s, 70s, and you're like, I have an idea that I really want to do, it's figure
Do
outable.
it.
Just
Yeah.
do it.
See, and I was just going to ask you as a wrap up, what's the one decision a woman listening today could make to stop playing small, to start choosing herself? But you just said, do it because it's figure outable.
Yeah, I mean, rip the Band-Aid. It's just
Mm,
rip that freaking Band-Aid. What's the worst thing that's gonna happen
yeah.
from it?
Right.
You fail.
Right.
Who
Yep.
cares?
And then you learn.
Whatever, on
Yeah.
to the next thing. Okay, good.
Get it out of the way. Now you know what it's like.
Yep,
Keep moving.
beautiful, right?
Hmm.
Next. Okay,
Agreed.
next. Yep.
Love it. Renee, I usually wrap up with a couple rapid fire questions. Do you mind if I ask them to you?
Oh, go right ahead.
What's your go to Power Woman song?
Okay, so I'm gonna here's another plug. I wrote a song.
No, you did not.
I did. So it's my anthem. It's called Watch Me Rise. Part of my company, my personal branding company, we create anthems. So there's a
Oh,
song, Watch Me Rise. It's on Apple, it's on Spotify. It could be used on
yes.
social media for
Excellent.
reels, but it's Watch Me Rise, Watch Me Claim It. I'm the storm. I'm the unapologetically badass.
I started a Spotify playlist of all the songs women have recommended. So that is going on right after this
I
episode.
can't wait to hear what you think. I love it.
What's one life hack or tip that you use?
Uh, well, one hack is my elixir. I feel
Oh,
like a million freaking bucks using it. It's a collagen elixir. I've got more energy than I know what to do with it. People are like, "Oh my god, why don't we go?" I'm like, "I know, it's crazy."
that's awesome. What's one of your favorite books?
Is that 3 feet from gold?
Oh, yeah. Right.
1000%.
Perfect. And what's one belief you had to unlearn?
That I was too much,
Mm,
that I was too
yes.
much.
And then what's something you do every day to take care of yourself?
Drink my Cabernet.
Now, is this a habit you picked up in your 20s and you just continued it along?
You know what?
Good for you.
Yeah, I'm committed again. I'm committed, and if I commit, I'm gonna do it. No, but I will say to be totally another thing that I love sharing is my miracle morning. That is something that I will not go a day without. So I
What is
wake
that?
up every day. I have a Keurig next to my bed. So I have the beautiful morning that I roll over and I press brew. And
Mhm.
as I have my coffee, I say my prayers. I always start off with 3 things that I'm grateful for, always, every single morning. And I do that. Part of my miracle morning is I also listen to my future self script. And I challenge everyone to do this because this is really something that keeps me motivated and keeps me going, especially in the, tougher seasons or tougher mornings, tougher
Yeah.
days. But what I did is a lot of people love vision boards, and I love a vision board. I've got it all over the place in my office. It's a background on my phone. I love my vision board. But I wanted to bring that a step further, and someone else shared this with me. So what I did is I wrote down my goal for, say, a year, 6 months. Not only what do I want to achieve, how much money I want to make, but how do I want to live? What do I want to
Mm,
spend time to do, and travel, and how often I travel, and how do I live my life? And I really tried to sit in it. Like, I love the beach. So I'm like, okay, I want to like smell the ocean, and like I'm just literally there. So once I
mm,
put all of that down on paper, going, this is what I want my future life to look like. I then recorded myself in a voice memo as if I've
mm.
already achieved it.
Yes.
So I'm like, I listen to this every day as if I've already done all the things that I have in my future. And when I listen to that, even when I'm sad, even when I'm not feeling the total badass queen, I listen to that and that gets me jumping out of bed, stretch. I'm like, okay, let's go. We can do this. That's my purpose again.
That's
So
awesome.
that's
That is
definitely
awesome.
one serious thing that I think every woman should do is create that future
Yeah.
life script.
Yeah, I write it down, but I love the idea of hearing it from your own voice.
We know
That's
it's all
beautiful.
connected.
Totally
Mhm.
gonna borrow that one.
Yep,
Mhm.
absolutely.
Then what's the last question I have for you is what's something that you're excited about next?
Short term is this is really so much fun. I was inducted into this organization called Bombshell Boss Babes.
Oh my god.
I
I
know.
love the name.
It sounds bougie, but then they take it to, you want to talk about bougie? This is why I'm so excited. I'm going on a yacht party in May in Miami.
Oh my god. Of all places, a yacht in Miami. There that is the
I
epitome
was
of
right.
oh my god, I love it.
So bougie, and then we're having dinner at the Versace mansion the night before. And the amazing women that I get to do this with, wait till you see if people want to stalk my Instagram, get ready because it's going to be a lot of fun. And with that, ugh, there's so much. I'm expanding
Yeah.
the Badass Queen merchandise, and then there's might be Badass Queen wine in the future and a Napa Valley
Of
experience.
course there's gonna be wine.
Of course, right? And then wait till you see I mean, just wait. There's so much. I'm
Oh my god.
busting at the seams with excitement.
Oh, I think everybody listening has got to follow you all over social media just to keep up with you. Renee, I cannot thank you enough. This has been an absolute blast. And
I love it.
your generosity in offering your experiences to women who are building the world, to women who are living in the world is really, really lovely. So
Oh,
I'm going to make sure that we add all the details about Badass Queen, your
great.
podcast, your books, everything in the show notes so they can
Thank
follow you. And to all of you who are listening, take what you heard today from Renee, carry what matters, and pass the wisdom forward. Because when women speak, the world changes. Thanks for listening and see you next time on That's What She Said. Follow That's What She Said on social media on Instagram, TikTok, and YouTube. That's What She Said is created, hosted, and executive produced by Dr. Robin Buckley. Our Senior VP of Productions and Content Strategy Consultant is Dr. Tom Grabowski. Jordan Gilbert is our show's Marketing and Creative Content Specialist. Senior Producer is Quentin Sukup. And remember to keep the conversation going. Subscribe wherever you get your podcasts, whether you're a woman who's lived it or a woman who's building it.